Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel where we meticulously examine the intricate and often dramatic currents flowing beneath the surface of the British monarchy. Today, we delve into a situation that is causing profound anxiety within the inner circles of the royal family, threatening to unleash a storm that could overshadow even the most recent controversies. We are speaking, of course, about Sarah, the Duchess of York, more commonly known as Fergie, and a move she is reportedly contemplating that could end up stressing out her last remaining well-wishers. A group that critically includes her two devoted daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. The specter of a tell-all memoir looms large, a literary bombshell that royal observers suggest could cause irreparable harm not only to the institution, but perhaps more ironically to Fergie herself. Before we unpack the complicated history and the current high-stakes drama surrounding Royal Lodge, do remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel for the deepest dives into royal life, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support allows us to continue bringing you these detailed reports. The shifting sands of sibling rivalry and royal favor. To truly understand the pressure cooker situation Sarah Ferguson now finds herself in, we must first establish the increasingly strained relationships at the heart of the monarchy. It is no secret, and indeed a matter of public record, that King Charles and his brother, Prince Andrew, were never particularly close. Their temperaments, their paths, and their approaches to royal duty have always diverged significantly. However, the historical distance between the siblings has been exacerbated exponentially by the slew of shameful scandals that have continuously plagued Prince Andrew. The monarch, King Charles, has been left increasingly frustrated, and rightly so, by his brother's antics, which have done immeasurable damage to the reputation of the crown. The king, in his mission to streamline the monarchy and restore public trust, views his brother's continued presence and status as a significant impediment. It is against this backdrop of fraternal strife and public disgrace that Sarah Ferguson's own status has risen and fallen like the tide. For a period, during the height of Andrew's ostracization, his ex-wife, the Duchess of York, seemed to hold a measure of favor with King Charles. Despite having had her own fair share of highly publicized controversies in the past, incidents which led to her initial exclusion from official royal circles, she was shown a kind gesture by the king. This apparent acceptance, perhaps rooted in her steadfast support for her daughters and her continued presence in Andrew's life, offered a glimmer of hope that she might be brought back into the fold, albeit in an unofficial capacity. But the tapestry of royal acceptance is woven with extremely delicate threads, and those threads appear to have snapped entirely in recent months. As new, bitter truths and fresh complications regarding Fergie emerged, details that have not been fully disclosed, but have clearly reached the highest levels of the palace, the royal family seems to have implemented a decisive and comprehensive policy to categorically exclude her. The grace period, it seems, is definitively over. The grudge and the gavel, the battle for Royal Lodge. While the royals may have dismissed some of her past actions for a time, granting her a temporary reprieve, Fergie herself appears to be holding a significant grudge regarding the recent steps taken against the Duke and Duchess of York. The primary and most painful point of contention revolves around their residence, the magnificent, sprawling 30-room mansion known as Royal Lodge, situated on the Windsor estate. For months now, there have been intense and what have been described as advanced-level discussions taking place within the palace walls, focused squarely on the removal of both Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson from Royal Lodge. This is not merely a request for relocation. This is an eviction, an institutional decision driven by the king's desire for efficiency, and, critically, by the need to distance the core monarchy from the costly and reputation-damaging entanglement with the Duke of York. The Royal Lodge is a substantial property, a symbol of permanence and status within the royal structure. For Andrew and Fergie, who have cohabited there despite their divorce, it represents their home, their security, and one of the last vestiges of their former standing. The threat of being forced out of this 30-room sanctuary, a place where their daughters grew up and where they have maintained a unique, if unconventional, family unit, is the ultimate act of exclusion. It is this profound sense of injustice, this feeling of being targeted and removed from the geographic and symbolic heart of the monarchy, that appears to be fueling Fergie's next potential course of action. And this is where the distress for her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, truly begins. The Thread of the Pen, a reckless memoir. It is widely rumored, and indeed the subject of intense speculation in royal circles, that Sarah Ferguson is planning a reckless move, the publication of a tell-all book, an autobiography that promises to lift the lid on decades spent within the orbit of the world's most famous family. This potential literary endeavor is sparking fresh and deeply rooted fears among the royal family, who dread the inevitable revelations, distortions, and subjective accounts such a volume would contain. To gain insight into the gravity of this threat, we turn to the observations of seasoned royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams. Mr. Fitzwilliams has articulated clearly the danger posed by such a project, noting that an autobiography penned by Fergie would be very harmful. Crucially, he stresses that the damage would extend far beyond the immediate shockwaves hitting the royal institution. It would, he believes, be equally damaging to Fergie herself. In an interview with GB News, the royal expert meticulously explained the inherent difficulties that would face the mother of Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie should she choose this path. The central issue, he argued, is one of credibility. After years of public scrutiny, financial troubles, and past incidents that have challenged her reputation, Fitzwilliams suggests that any account offered by Fergie would be difficult to believe without what he termed provable facts. He elaborated on the potential fallout with a blunt assessment. I honestly suspect that if she ever did, what harm it might do. It could be very harmful. He stressed the fundamental truth that any book written by an insider is harmful. This is a given. Insiders possess details, emotional context, and private conversations that the public craves, regardless of their truthfulness. However, Fitzwilliams pointed to the unique challenge facing Fergie. The whole point of an autobiography is that you want to be believed. He continued with a powerful assertion regarding the inherent risk to her own reputation, stating, "And I think that there would be very considerable problems in believing anything that she said, other than provable facts." This analysis raises a crucial point that transcends mere celebrity gossip. A royal memoir, particularly one from a figure as polarizing as Fergie, is only as potent as its perceived truthfulness. If the book is viewed as a calculated effort to settle scores, a vehicle for resentment over the Royal Lodge eviction, or a means to generate desperately needed income, the narrative risks being dismissed as unreliable or self-serving. Without concrete, verifiable evidence, the provable facts Fitzwilliams mentions, the intended bombshell could simply fizzle out, leaving Fergie's own credibility further diminished. The resulting harm would be twofold: failing to inflict the desired damage on the palace while simultaneously eroding her own public standing. The agony of the daughters. The most tragic element in this unfolding drama is the position of Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. These two women have consistently demonstrated loyalty and devotion to their mother, supporting her through her most difficult periods. Simultaneously, they have maintained strong, respectful relationships with their father, Prince Andrew, and the wider institution, including their uncle, King Charles. They are caught in an impossible, agonizing dilemma. On one side is their mother, Sarah Ferguson, feeling ousted, resentful, and perhaps planning a desperate, reckless act of defiance. On the other side is the stability of the institution that provides them with their familial identity, their status, and their futures. The news of a potentially harmful tell-all book directly threatens their carefully managed existence. If Fergie were to publish a memoir detailing private grievances or sensitive information, it would inevitably place Beatrice and Eugenie in an untenable situation. They would be forced, implicitly or explicitly, to choose between supporting their mother's narrative and maintaining their allegiance to the king and the establishment. The potential stress on them is immense. They must navigate their loyalty to a mother who is facing the loss of her home and her status, while simultaneously trying to mitigate the damage she might inflict on the family they serve. The prospect of their mother's actions creating a new wave of negative publicity, forcing them to answer difficult questions or defend controversial statements, is undoubtedly the source of the profound anxiety referenced in the initial reports. Their well wishes for their mother are based on the hope that she will choose a path of quiet resolution, not one of dramatic confrontation. The unresolved status of Royal Lodge. As of the current moment, no official announcement has been made regarding the eviction from Royal Lodge. However, every indication, every high-level conversation, suggests that this decision is not merely contemplated, but is actively in the works. The wheels of royal policy move slowly, deliberately, and often behind a veil of dignified silence. But once set in motion, they are rarely stopped. The removal of Prince Andrew, and by extension, Sarah Ferguson from the 30-room mansion, is seen by royal watchers as an inevitable step in King Charles's plan to create a more streamlined, cost-effective, and scandal-free working monarchy. The continued occupation of such a large, expensive property by non-working royals who have caused such reputational damage is simply unsustainable in the modern era. This looming eviction serves as the flashpoint, the catalyst that could push Sarah Ferguson from a position of quiet resentment into one of explosive retribution. The tell-all book, therefore, is not just a commercial venture. It is being viewed as the ultimate act of defiance against a system she perceives as having betrayed her and her former husband. Concluding reflections. The situation facing Sarah Ferguson is complex and deeply saddening. She is a figure defined by her contradictions, fiercely loyal to her family, yet prone to dramatic missteps, possessing immense charm, yet often lacking the necessary discretion required of royal proximity. The thread of a memoir, as analyzed by Richard Fitzwilliams, highlights the high stakes involved. A genuine, truthful account could indeed be devastating to the monarchy, but a hyperbolic or unverifiable account would likely destroy her own last remnants of credibility. The choice she makes now will define her legacy and, more immediately, determine the emotional stability of her beloved daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. We must wait and watch to see if the palace will announce the official removal from Royal Lodge, and whether this act will indeed precipitate the feared literary bombshell. The tension is palpable, and the consequences of any rash decision are enormous for all parties involved. What are your thoughts on this difficult situation? Do you believe Sarah Ferguson should publish her memoir, or do you think the potential damage outweighs the therapeutic or financial benefits? Share your opinions in the comments section below. We always appreciate your insights into these complex royal matters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for our next celebrity update as we continue to track the developments within the House of Windsor. Thank you for watching, and may you have a wonderful rest of your day.